Hey, everybody, welcome to the Czabecast. Zabe, Scotty, Al, Lodef. This is Players' Championship Week in golf, in which the PGA Tour is trying to insist to us it's a major, the fifth major. To which I say, blasphemy! 'Tis no such thing. Often people have said it's like Pete Best being called the fifth Beatle. Tell me more about Pete Best, Scott. You're more musically learned than I am.
I don't know his exact history, but he, along with Stu Sutcliffe, were part of the
original.
Early
on.
One guy, and I forget who it was. Gald, maybe your memory is better on this. One of the guys had
Galdy's
some sort of
way too young to
You
remember
got me
the
on
Beatles.
this, yeah.
One of the gentlemen had some sort of head thing going on, whether it was headaches or tumor or brain thing.
Could you play softer?
Yeah.
Every time we play Day Tripper, I end up with a headache. Please play softer.
That's terrible.
Well, there's only four Beatles, and people only recognize four Beatles. Although I guess
Best was the original drummer.
okay.
So, joined him, blah, 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 replaced by Ringo, never given a full explanation why. Maybe it was Sutcliffe that had the illness. I'm botching them up. But when you think of the Beatles, you think of John, Paul, George, and Ringo. You don't think of Stu or Pete.
When you talk about laps around the sports calendar, this is one of the staples every time this event comes up. Because they've been trying to push this as a fifth major for a while now.
And you're not even a golf fan, but you've recognized
Yeah,
it.
And
I mean,
everybody
this comes
says
up
it,
every
right.
year.
You always hear it referred to as the quote-unquote so-called fifth major.
But if you have to have the discussion, then it's not a fifth major.
Right. Anytime you have so-called in front of your name,
Right.
that's not good.
You're not called.
No, right. Right. If you're so-called, you're not called.
Right.
If you have air quotes, you're not legit. The champion.
Who are the four horsemen in wrestling, Galdy? Quick.
Well, there have been many versions, but the best version was Flair,
so-called.
Wyndham, Blanchard, and Anderson. But,
All right.
but yeah.
And who would be the so-called fifth horseman?
Oh, boy. Probably
Benoit.
Ole Anderson or Luger. Probably Ole Anderson, and he was an original member, but most people don't really consider him a
Really?
real
I thought Ole and Arn were definitely members of the original
Ole
four.
didn't
I thought
fit
Ole
in.
instead of Wyndham.
Wyndham fit in much better
Arn,
than Ole.
Ole, Tully, and Flair. I thought that
All
was
right.
the longer
Wyndham.
standing four horsemen.
What is the fifth major sport? Because it's presumed that football, basketball, hockey, and baseball are the
But
four
that's-
majors.
It's so ridiculous.
Right, what
though,
is the fifth
because it should
major?
be
What is the
college,
fifth
it should
major?
be college football instead of hockey. That's a much bigger deal.
However,
because it's a different product than the NFL entirely.
Well, just because what's a bigger deal in this country, college football
Okay.
or the NHL? But if you had
Well,
to,
what would be the fifth major sport then?
maybe NASCAR.
that's what I would vote for.
Over golf? I guess they get better ratings.
Well,
but I contend that NASCAR fans, a good chunk, aren't sports fans. They're country music fans, they're Jim Beam fans, and they're catfish fans.
All three good things.
What does that have
I
to do
don't
with
begrudge
anything?
any of them, but
Staples of Americana. Beam, catfish,
you go to
and
a
what was
you
your
go to
other
a
thing?
NASCAR race.
Mac and cheese? What'd you say?
No, Jim Beam, catfish, and trailers.
That's
what they're fans
I'd
of.
contend some golf fans are not sports fans.
Pish posh.
They're weekend rich people.
Yeah, well, fans of money. Is what
I
we're
like
fans
money and golfing.
Not of
Yes.
paying on time, but of money.
We are fans of money and of illegal hired help.
Why, if you don't wear a collared shirt, you're just scum, really.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll see whether or not this thing ever gets traction as the fifth major. Looks like it's not because
No.
it keeps being called the so-called fifth major. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time.